Hi everyone, we're bringing you a special episode of Newsbreak today to tell you about Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who has died aged 96. We're going to take a look back at her life and find out how people here and around the world have reacted to the news. In the early hours of this morning, Buckingham Palace released a statement confirming the Queen had died peacefully at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. Her family, as well as people here in Australia and around the world, are remembering her.
Just after 6:30 p.m. on the 8th of September, Buckingham Palace confirmed that Queen Elizabeth II had died. Crowds flocked outside as tributes started flowing for Britain's longest-serving monarch.
An icon really, isn't she? You know, and there'll never be anybody like her ever again.
I think we're all proud of her as British citizens.
She's been a role model for so many people, so many people.
We've all known just one queen. She's the person we've always looked up to.
Right across the globe, people are taking time to reflect and remember the Queen. There were moments of silence, monuments were lit with British flags, or were switched off, and world leaders paid their respects.
It is with great sadness that New Zealand wakes to the news of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
She was thoughtful, wise, curious, helpful, funny, and so much more.
Our country has grown and flourished under her reign. Britain is the great country it is today because of her.
Here in Australia, flags are flying at half-mast, which is a sign of mourning, and the Prime Minister has also shared his thoughts on the Queen.
Queen Elizabeth II is the only reigning monarch most of us have known, and the only one to ever visit Australia.
So what happens now? Well, the Queen's eldest son, Prince Charles, is now King Charles III, making his son, Prince William, first in line to the throne. There will be 10 days of mourning. On Saturday UK time, it's expected that Charles will be officially proclaimed king in an announcement read out to the public from the balcony of St James's Palace in London. Over the next few days, there will be processions as the Queen's coffin is moved from Scotland to London, and people will have a chance to pay their respects. And King Charles will travel around the UK in that time. UK Parliament is on hold until after the Queen's funeral is held at Westminster Abbey in about 10 days. Queen Elizabeth lived a really incredible life. She spent 70 years on the throne, which made her the longest-serving British monarch in history. In 1926, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor was born. She was the newest arrival in a family, a royal family, with 160 servants and 5 palaces. And while her life might have seemed like a fairy tale, she never expected to be a queen. But in 1936, her uncle decided to abdicate or give up the throne.
King Edward VII has ceased to reign over Great Britain and the British Empire.
So Elizabeth's father became king, and at 10 years old, she suddenly became first in line to the throne. During World War II, the 14-year-old princess gave her first royal address.
We know, every one of us, that in the end all will be well. For God will care for us and give us victory and peace.
Not long after the war ended, she married Prince Philip and had her first child, Prince Charles. On February 6, 1952, Elizabeth's dad, King George VI, died. And at the age of 25, she became queen. In 1954, she took a trip to Australia. She was the first British monarch to visit us. Back then, the Queen was the official head of state of 32 Commonwealth countries. She also supported many charities and eventually became the UK's longest reigning monarch.
Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.
But even though she was always in the public eye, the Queen was a super private person who only gave a few little glimpses into her home life. We know she loved horses.
Naughty boy.
And her dogs.
Ray, you're not supposed to do that. What are you doing here?
But most of all, she cared for her 4 kids, Charles, Anne, Andrew and Edward.
Ow, it's my foot you're standing on.
And her grandkids and great-grandkids. Over her 70 years as Queen, she dedicated her life to serving her country and the Commonwealth. And while that job will now pass to her eldest son, King Charles III, Queen Elizabeth II will keep a big place in the history books.
It is a job for life.
Finally, let's find out how you feel about today's news.
Obviously finding out this morning it was a little bit much because she's obviously been around my whole life.
She was a hard worker, she was very smart and she was very strong. 70 years in power, it's amazing.
Because she's been alive for my whole life, I felt maybe she was going to just keep going.
I've looked up to her, she's inspired me.
She's been around for a really long time, even longer than my dad's been alive.
Well, they'll have to change all the coins and notes and all that, but I reckon that'll take a while, especially seeing they've just introduced the new notes.
I mean, even our old money has the Queen on there.
She's been through a lot. She's been through wars and she's seen lots of stuff, so I'm sure it will be quite a sad thing to be able to look back on.
Obviously, she kind of bridged the gap between, old, world views and politics into the new generation of technology.
It's a sad part of history, but it will allow people to look deeper into the history of Britain and the UK.
She's the people's queen and she always will be the people's queen.
Well, that's all for now, but if you want to know more about what's happening, then make sure you head to our website and tune in to BTN Classroom next week. I'll see you soon.